Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. Today is Tuesday, September 24th, 2024. This is the Agree to Disagree show on the new American media because the old American media has failed you. Thanks for finding us here. Please subscribe to the new American media and the Agree to Disagree show in all of the places, especially Rumble and X. X, we're at American_media_. This is TV's Blake Walley. Find him on X at TV's Blake Walley and thenextlevelnews.com. Blake, sir, how are you doing?
Doing pretty good, Brian. Great to be here.
Good. Do you have any other shows to promote? You doing anything else this evening you want people to check out?
Oh, there is a Toxically Masculine Tuesday night show with me and Mike Barra and Steve Doran and you, Brian, filling in for Dr. Brooks Agnew, who's still out cruising the Mediterranean.
Excellent. Well, we get a little bit of a head start here on some of the topics that I'm sure will be discussed later today on that program. But for a little heads up on what we're going to talk about, of course, we will cover the Diddy situation. Oh, yeah. More details. Just trying to really understand what it's all about. We're going to break it down in this show, hence the thumbnail picture of Diddy. Because we're trying to figure out, was he born a monster or was he made one? You could ask the same about Jeffrey Epstein while we're at it. Also, are they still actively trying to get rid of President Trump? The deep state, are they trying to get rid of him? I'm trying to use coded language, Blake. I know there's certain words that the algorithms don't like you to say. Oh, the humanity. How dare we talk like adults? But really, why is the deep state still going green light on Trump? We're going to discuss it. Also, about green light, what about the FCC? Are they committing election interference with their collusion and purchase that's been pushed through by George Soros? What has he done? Oh, we'll tell you. Also, should Donald Trump, President Trump, former President Trump, future President Trump, should he accept the challenge of a second debate? We will discuss. Also, the 741 intelligence chiefs. Their endorsement of Kamala Harris, is this helpful or hurtful to Trump? We'll ask you. Also, is the Kamala Harris presidency purely a media creation? I mean, you tell me. Also, are Democrats planning to cheat with overseas voters? Oh, we got a story for you. It's kind of weird. And finally, illegal aliens. Who should house them? Some are saying maybe that should be Kamala Harris. So we'll get into all of these stories and more on today's The Agree to Disagree show. All righty then. I guess let's start with our cover boy, Blake. Mr. Sean Combs, he used to be called. Then it was Puff Daddy. Putting daddy in your own name, and then you had a butt plug fetish. Interesting how this turns out. Anyway, continuing on. Then he's Diddy, right? Puff Diddy? No, that was just Diddy. I think we just jumped to. Now it's felon. Potential felon. Potential Epstein. Let's talk about this, Blake. What are we even dealing with here? Did you see the meme where it said Biggie wasn't actually cross-eyed? He just knew to keep one eye on Diddy at all times. Have you seen that one?
I have not seen that one, but yeah.
I can find it while you pull up your story. But yeah, man, what should we make of this? Is Puff Daddy, has he always been a monster, or was he turned into one?
I'm going to say he's probably always been one, but I don't know. I mean, obviously, I'm not close to him, but it did seem like, either Biggie or Tupac. Seems like people in that industry were fearful of him or wanted to kind of keep their distance. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going around. It's a lot. Seems like the dam is broken on this, kind of the Epstein of the music industry, potentially, or it could lead to bigger things down the road. I'm not sure, but one of his bodyguards says that there are tapes of politicians at these freak-offs that he used to host, either at his home or in hotels, and claim that the rapper learned from other music moguls. So it appears like it's like a hazing ritual of sorts that just goes, that's pervasive in that industry. sometimes.
So right here, this is the one, Blake. It says even Biggie knew to keep one eye on Puffy because Biggie was notorious for having that lazy eye situation going on. I digress, but I thought it was kind of funny. There's really nothing funny about any of this stuff. But look, I'm going to find the humor in all of it. But yeah, there's been sorrow left in the wake of Sean Combs wherever he's been. I mean, he was definitely implicated in some of these other things. And remember, he made his entrance, his grand entrance into hip hop, kind of riding the coattails of Biggie's death. You know, kind of, here I am dancing over a song, and there you are. I wish you weren't gone, and I'm Diddy, and yeah, every step you take. Like, that was his launch. That was the beginning. I know he'd been around for a little while, but I mean, his birth into entertainment, you know, it kind of was a bit of a ritual, it seems. It's really strange stuff going on here.
Right. Let me see a couple quick notes on that. I think he own like Biggie Smalls' like his library, or does he get the money now from the royalties? I don't know if he owns his music or what have you. That's one thing. Another thing, I saw an article from when you're talking about Every Breath You Take. He didn't get permission from Sting for that song, and allegedly pays like $2,000 to $5,000 like per day. I think it actually is. I suppose they're friends now, but that's wild how much money and royalties go to Sting actually for that. Maybe even cost him. Certainly put him on the radar because that was like a huge hit. And he had a few of those. I think it's the only kind of songs that I actually kind of liked from Diddy, like the All About the Benjamins, and with those little mashups, I guess. But that's all right. Yeah, he was an interesting character.
There was a Led Zeppelin one with the Godzilla soundtrack.
Yeah, that was a good one too. Like Come With Me or something. Yeah, those are probably the ones that I probably like the best. Out of
I mean the Biggie, Tupac, Puffy, like that whole 5-year era. I mean, like, there's a sound to that. The sound of that is like what, the mid 90s, the mid to late 90s.
Yeah, it was definitely it. And that's like right when I was in like college, and the college parties, and it was Snoop Dogg and all that, Dr. Dre, and interesting times back then. And that was But now we're finding out some pretty nasty stuff on that. It wasn't just gangster culture. It was like this weird sexualized ritual stuff, these freak offs that he was known for. Or at least that he became. He's known for now. We didn't know about this till a week ago, after they've raided his mansion down in Los Angeles, and then they found 1,000 bottles of baby oil. So it seems pretty obvious that he's pretty much red-handed. He's had his bail denied, and it's curious whether he's not supposedly on suicide watch, and he's in the Epstein area of was it Rikers? But he's definitely he's in trouble. Maybe he's going to start spilling secrets, or maybe he's the top. And it's going to be interesting. So a lot of people are going to be testifying against him, but it's not looking good. So the secret is out. Yeah, he was outed. I don't know whether it was Tupac or Biggie or the Cat Williams interview. When he talked to Shannon Sharp, like, it seems like this was well known, but now the dam is officially broken. So they're saying it's all bigger than Diddy. He was indicted in New York, charged with racketeering, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution, facing the prospect of decades behind bars. Charges, 6 months after the raids, 1,000 bottles. The freak-offs where Diddy would drug all these people, get a bunch of women to come into his place, or maybe a hotel room, supply them with drugs, get them messed up, and then hire like male sex workers to have sex with them for days on end. And then he would actually get all these IV bags for them after 3 days of drugs and sex. And I guess he was also trying to keep people, kind of kidnap them temporarily, just if they were bruised or whatever. A lot of people were beaten or whatever, I guess, if they didn't comply. They wait for their wounds to heal before they would send them away. So it's all coming out. But the bodyguard that in this article here is implying that Diddy himself was victimized early in his career by other powerful music industry figures. That he blames the one who trained him and taught him the music business. So he says Puff wasn't born a monster, he was made into one. So the things you have to do. Yeah, it's the hazing ritual. Some of the people that get hazed, and they might be even worse when they have to haze the next class or whatever, if this is a fraternity. But yeah, heavy into drugs. And he says also karma for a lot of the stuff he did, including one allegation that he led rapper Biggie Smalls to his death. So karma was bound to catch up to him. Yeah, one of the great tragedies, they say.
Okay, you said held there until they were able to heal?
Yeah, I was listening to one of my favorite YouTube channels is Bruce Rivers, the criminal lawyer, and he went over the entire indictment. I don't remember how it's 39 pages. I forget exactly, or it's a 39-minute video. But he goes into all the allegations, and it's damning. He's basically he's fucked. So it's not even worth with the lawyers, they're just gonna bleed you dry because you have no chance of getting through this, of beating it. And you're probably better off just going into the courtroom and mooning the judge and not doing anything and just taking your time. Because if you do the lawyer route, you're just going to lose all your money in the process. But he might be gone for 30 years. I mean, this is no joke. This is massive, massive story.
Well, yeah. Okay. So Rick Norman, what's up? He's asking, wondering how much Jennifer Lopez knew.
Yeah, she's tied into that. Yeah, she was at those parties. Anybody's at this party. LeBron James, another one. No party like a Diddy party. Yeah, when they're drugging everybody and there's wild sex and drugs and who knows, and all those baby oil, and people are getting filmed and blackmailed. Yeah, you're damn right. There was some wacky stuff going down. That's putting it mildly. So
let me play this real quick. You said politicians. The allegation from the bodyguard is that politicians are involved. This is an interesting video if you haven't seen it. This is Chrissy Teigen and John Legend having a conversation. Blake, have you seen this one?
I don't know. Maybe not. Let's roll it.
All right, let's roll this.
Just pick it out, read it, and answer.
Public place, you did it. Is this the best or the worst? What do you do?
The best.
Okay, the best.
And by the way, he starts sweating instantly. Watch this. They pick the random question out. As soon as she reads the question, he starts wiping his forehead.
Or the worst? What do you do?
The best.
Okay, the best. Probably the Obama thing.
John, what's the? Oh God.
Oh God.
John.
What?
What is wife talking about?
I don't know.
We heard
We're not-
Obama in there.
He should get back in. What happened?
We're not
What was the Obama?
going to discuss
You're
that.
not gonna discuss it?
We're not. We're not.
Oh my God.
By the way, John Legend, the current face of Pfizer's ad campaign after Travis Kelce.
Secret Service. Come here, jump back in. Look at John. Look at. I don't.
Hi.
We're not talking about it. That's the truth.
That is an awesome answer.
Not the White House.
It
was not.
It was not at the White House.
It was 100% not at the White House. I promise.
He was not elected yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, we're moving on.
I'm sorry. I'm in trouble now.
No, you're good.
You are.
Just pick it out, read it, and answer.
Public place, you did it.
So Blake, John Legend there said that was before Obama was president. Something going on. I mean, what kind of politician? Wait, John Legend's from Springfield, Ohio? What? All right, let me look that one up. If these worlds are colliding, that's just bizarre. But Blake, what say you with the politicians and then them working Obama in? And do we have any hints of names of anybody connected to this Diddy stuff?
The Obamas might very well be tied into this. I don't want to, speculate too far, but there's a lot of people, and they can't be naive to all the things that were happening in that circle. So let's tie it together. You get Jay-Z. The only other thing I know, it seems as though Justin Bieber was tampered with. Let's say
Okay,
that.
pause on Bieber for a second. According to my quick search, John Legend is from Springfield, Ohio.
Well, what do you know?
Dig that crazy cat. All right.
Yeah,
Back to Bieber.
Quite a coincidence. Now, this is actually not Bieber, but Bieber is tied to it, and I think even is it Stephen Baldwin, who's his is it stepfather now? Yeah, he's calling out this industry. He knows. They know that they've been compromised, and I feel bad for Bieber. And this guy right here is Aaron Carter, that was killed right before he was about allegedly. Now there's rumors. Take it with a grain of salt. That Aaron Carter was killed right before he was about to expose what happened at P. Diddy's sex trafficking parties, where he was childhood victim of drug abuse and rape, much like it seems to be with Bieber. Aaron Carter released albums under Sony Music Group Entertainment, which is a parent company of P. Diddy's Bad Boy Records. Aaron Carter, of course, he allegedly had an overdose. He might have. I'm sure he was on drugs, or they made it look like an overdose, one or the other. But another thing I wanted to show is when you say, is he a monster, or did he start as one, or was he always one? There's an interesting clip I happened to notice here, just going through some of this weird stuff. Carter, of course, that Mike Tyson he moved Diddy's hand away in an awkward clip from a 1998 TV show going way back in the day. So check this out.
It truly is about the Benjamin, as we see.
It's truly all about the Benjamin. And you've got Mike Tyson picking up his hand and sliding it out of the way and then moving his body away. It was though Diddy was diddling his leg, making things weird. It was making Tyson uncomfortable, and he actually had to do this while being interviewed on live television. So we didn't notice this, but this is resurfaced now as people are putting these clues together.
Benjamin, as we see.
Oh yeah,
moving his hand. Nope.
Now when we come back, we're gonna talk more with Puffy, and if you want to hang out, more than welcome to stick around, my brother.
Tina and I remained on a
right back with more right after this.
Back in the day.
That was a weird clip.
Yeah.
It really is all about the Benjamins, he says. Huh.
Yeah, but that's 1998. So you would think you'd be like everything about him screams like sociopath. So if you were going to be born that way, and you're hearing from his bodyguard, which might be biased, but he had a ton of people on his payroll. That I mean, it's the staggering amount of money that he has to have this staff that keeps all of this stuff secret. They know very well about these freak off parties, and they even go to like hotel rooms, and he hires all these people to basically scrub all the evidence, to bring all the supplies, because not like Diddy's going to be carrying up boxes of baby oil to the hotel rooms by himself. So he's got his staff to set it all up, clean it all up after it's over, and yeah, it's quite an operation. So,
I'm trying to figure out. I'm looking. There was that lyric, "I lost myself at a Diddy party," and some of those, I'm sure you've seen that song going around, but some of these are saying that song was not released by Bieber. But I've heard that lyric a whole bunch of times. Here, let me just, for the sake of showing you what I'm talking about. Do I have the screen up here? No, let me switch it over. There we go.
Uh-huh.
So this is the song that I've heard a few times, but maybe this isn't a real song. And by the way, this is where
I can't hear any of that.
copyright.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then don't bother with it. I can't hear anything.
Oh, you can't hear anything.
Nope.
That's weird. I think I can hear it.
Song that I've heard.
Here, let me see if it's playing on playback.
Maybe this isn't a real song.
Here we go. Let's see if it plays back.
And by the way, this is where we'll hear any
Oh, you couldn't hear it either.
Okay.
Okay.
Don't bother.
Huh.
It's all right.
Well, look,
Probably should flag.
it. Look, there's a song about lost myself at a Diddy party. I've seen it 100 times in the past month.
Yeah.
Maybe it's real. It's they're saying it's not a real song. Maybe it's AI generated or whatnot. But somebody made a song about what went down there. So
Yeah, it's just creepy that he's hanging around with these teenage boys, Aaron Carter and Justin Bieber. I mean, they were teenagers. Yeah, they're probably working out record deals, but there's a whole, thing of blackmail, either helping a lot of people that financially or cutting them off. It's a very abusive relationships that he had with everybody around him, and it was just all like blackmail, extortion. It's crazy. And then, sex and drugs. And but now it's getting exposed. Yeah, there could be politicians tied up. Maybe the Obamas. I don't want to speculate too much, but certainly not far from. It's not far-fetched to think that that's happening. And then we don't know. As like an alleged corruption scandal currently gripping New York City politics, at least according also to this Daily Mail article here. So it could entwine a lot of people. So if that's the case, they might get rid of them, just like Epstein, because there's too many loose ends and they don't want him to speak out. And there's really nothing. I don't know who he would be able to rat on, unless it would be somebody like the Obamas. If it could be these the hot dog parties and stuff like that. I saw another. I don't remember. It's an old WikiLeaks email. I don't know if it's. I can't confirm it. It was Ben Affleck was connected to it. Yeah, I mean Jennifer Lopez, and there's so many of these high-profile names, or whether it's Chrissy Teigen or John Legend that have been in that as well. So there could be a hell of a LeBron James. I mean, some of the highest level people, athletes, music industry, politicians, that could be entwined in this, and it's pretty bad. But I mean, it needs to be exposed. This music industry and Hollywood and politics, they shouldn't be, entwined with, sex trafficking rings. And what else have you? So
the bodyguard was saying that somebody did this to Diddy in the beginning, and then he just started doing it better than anybody else.
Maybe it's just, it's how the music industry works. And I mean, I'm sure they get you compromised in order to make deals. Oh, you want a record deal? There's a lot of really, I mean, I heard a Black Keys interview on Rogan, I don't know, it was a couple of years ago, just talking about there's so many talented people out there that have great music, but it's kind of up to these record companies to put this out, and just how the music industry actually works, and how many of these, this music is just sitting on ice and unrecorded, unpublished. And it's a tough industry to break into. So I mean, maybe some of these people, or if you're an actor or actress and you want to get the role, are you going to sleep with Harvey Weinstein? Yeah. So, but that's been going on a long time too. So people are willing to do things, that aren't morally sound. I'm not judging them. I'm not saying I could blame them or saying I wouldn't do the same things that they are in their situation. You want to break through, you want to be a big star, well, they're going to have to compromise you. And so maybe you're going to have to do something you don't want to.
So are we about ready to have the Oprah?
Oh, gosh, that's another one to be tied into it. Yeah, we want to go down that hole. Oprah, Tom Hanks. I know I don't want to. I want to let it unravel, but I mean, it's not like politicians are doing much to get to the bottom of the Epstein stuff. So,
I mean, John Legend is the face of Pfizer, taking over for Kelsey, who got connected with Taylor Swift to become the biggest name in sports. Oprah is connected to every one of these things. Tom Hanks was the voice of the woke Cleveland Indians changing their name despite 98% of their fan base wanting to keep everything the way it was, he was the voice of the new era of Cleveland baseball. It's like all of these people get kind of the retread opportunities. They are the voice. They are the face. They're the commercial front. Like if you do something for them, you get your kickbacks. Just like all these politicians. They made $13 million on their book deal. Oh, did they? Oh, did they? Okay, that is some awesome bribery right there. That is some fantastic bribery. It's just money laundering. If you do this, it's a quid pro quo. We'll do this, we'll do that. Want to say thank you to one of our deep state handlers, Ashley Sanders. Thanks for being here and pasting the same stupid comment you made the other day. That is your real name, which it is not. Okay. All right. Well, we're unraveling this stuff with Diddy. Is he more dangerous to the powers that be with this information? Were they building a case or were they cleaning a crime scene, Blake? Were they wiping all this information gone? Does he not have a dead man switch? You know, you had to know this day was coming. Like what are we dealing with here? Was this guy an Epstein top level asset to get 1,000? There's the other clip of Obama saying that you didn't have to do all of this. I don't know if you saw that one, him talking to Diddy, but if you were guessing, you had $100 free bet, but you have to place it. Was he just one music guy that kind of went rogue on his own, or was he kind of an infiltrator from the beginning, going through the deaths of Biggie and Tupac and kind of collecting all this data? What do you think, Blake? Is he an Epstein-like CIA, Mossad, deep state asset, or is he just a rogue guy that kind of picked up some things along the way, didn't like how it went? He said, you know what? I'm going to be in charge of this next time. I'm going to have the power in Hollywood, and only Cat Williams will call me out in advance. What say you?
I don't think he would be scripted from the beginning. I think he probably became that. Maybe they just trusted him, and that was just they kept it under wraps for 20 years, 25 years. But eventually it just started to spill over. Now they're trying to contain it, and it's a big mess for everybody involved. So now, he's going to be in Rikers. He's going to be away for a long time. Everybody's going to turn on him, and they'll probably try to bury this. I'm actually maybe surprised that they did show some of this evidence. Like they would have just tried to keep a low profile on it and then hide him somewhere. But bringing this stuff up with all the the baby oil, 1,000 bottles. Like now we know you can't get out of this. So there's drugs and prostitution and sex parties, and he's in trouble. Not the same way as probably Epstein. Epstein was probably a little bit much higher level than Diddy was, because he was involved with the highest levels, royalty, topping these model agencies. He had his hands in everything. Politics all over the place, and Mossad ties. It gets really bad, which is why they don't. Which is why he allegedly committed suicide, and we still haven't found out what happened with the raid on his island, and what kind of evidence that he was carrying. So
let's play these two clips here. Where's the volume?
The White House. We put President Obama in the White House.
So saying we put President Obama in the White House. And Clint, if you guys go back, I spoke with Clint Russell. He was on a previous episode of the Agree to Disagree show. Good episode. But he says Diddy spent decades pushing the vote or die campaign. As long as he was helping Democrats get elected, he was offered protection. Next time you see a famous person loudly recruiting for the Democrats, you should remember this video here.
Thank you. And I just want to say how much I appreciate Buff Dan for doing the kinds of work that he's doing, because he doesn't have to do this. But this is part of what.
And by the way, with the heavy eyelids and kind of the slurred words, Obama appears to be high in this video, but let's just
There you go. Joe, thank you. And I just want to say how much I appreciate Puff Daddy for doing.
Like when he says Puff Daddy, like that word didn't even come out right. Sorry, but like his eyes are really droopy, and Diddy was known for getting people wasted around him.
Puff Daddy for doing the kinds of work that he's doing, because he doesn't have to do this. But this is part of what is important about giving back.
We applaud you.
He doesn't have to do this, but it's.
And I want to apologize for not sweating, but I do this so much. I'm so cool. I just want y'all to see everybody I'm interviewing is sweating. I'm not even touching my brow. I'm so cool, and I want to apologize. I ain't trying to make you look bad or nothing like that, but I'm just so cool. We
T-shirt. I tell you, if he was wearing one of those fancy designer clothes he's designing, he'd be sweating just like me.
Weird, and we know the what is it? Sinclair? Is it Larry Sinclair stories about Obama from earlier this year, Blake, on Tucker Carlson's show? Was it?
I can't remember. He's been around for a while. I think I've heard him on Alex Jones over the years.
But Diddy, I saw him. He was out there saying that he turns up the temperature at all of his parties so everybody gets hot. And then here he is pretending that he didn't do exactly what he's on camera talking about. It's part of their strategy. You make everybody hot.
Make everybody hot and serve everybody champagne. Oh, it's laced with drugs. And the next thing you know.
And it was a combination of drugs.
Yeah.
One that would loosen your muscles so that you could take some real rough stuff. One that would kind of make you euphoric, one that would give you rock hard energy. Like it was like a cocktail. There was literal chemistry involved with, you have to get somebody messed up, but you can't get them too messed up. And they need to be on an upper so they can go for creepy stuff, man. It really is like straight out of the deep state playbook of, was it Operation Midnight Climax?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, just about compromising.
Climax was the one where the hookers were given the John's LSD, and they had no idea what was happening, but they were Operation Midnight Climax.
Oh.
Anyway, this whole thing reeks. I don't know if they're going to Epstein this guy. Once again, free $100 bet. Do you think he's going to survive his way through a trial, or do you think he's going to be found mysteriously? Oh, shockingly, the guards were both asleep. Oh, I know he was the camera, but the camera stopped working. We don't know what happened. How did he get shoelaces in there? I don't know. Oh, I know, if he has a little prison pocket. Anyway,
right.
Blake, do you think he survives through trial, or do you think they Epstein him?
I don't know if it matters. I think he's going to be put away no matter what. Either he's going to mysteriously die, or yes, it's another suicide, or he's going to be gone for 30 years, and we'll never hear from him again. So I guess that's kind of the same thing. So I don't know if he'll ever get a chance to talk or, spill what he knows. But I mean, if the buck stops with him, then I don't know.
Pied Piper saying,
what do you say?
Pied Piper here is saying that Diddy will be Epsteined. Kenneth is saying did he? I don't know. Rick Norman wondering the ethnicity of Weinstein and Epstein. What was going on with those? Weinstein and Epstein. Rick Norman is agreeing with my analysis there. Blake, would you agree with it that Obama was definitely high in that video?
Yeah, certainly could be. Yeah, it wouldn't be surprising at all.
Puff Giddy. Yeah, he was a little giddy in that video. Larry Sinclair, the BJ and Crack in Waukegan, Illinois. There we go. Hello, Benny Hill. You've got a great username. Thanks for joining us today. Yeah, for some reason, they've allowed a few people to witness our feed today. Thanks to the 63 people watching live. We appreciate you. Please hit like and hit subscribe to wherever you're watching us from. The Agree to Disagree Show, The New American Media, and Blake Walley on X at TV's Blake Walley, The New American Media at American_media_. Rick Norman saying U.S. president hanging in public with a drug-dealing child molester. Oh, well, our current president is a child molester. So, yeah, good times. And Benny Hill saying, yeah, he's pretty sure Barack and Diddy may have done their thing. Yeah, let's see if Diddy goes swimming in Obama's backyard pool. Of course. So anyway, Blake, let's wrap this story up. Do we have any final odds and ends on this one you wanted to get to?
Still developing, and there's still going to be a lot of stuff coming out about this one, so I ain't going to go away for a while.
Got a question in chat asking if there's any chance we're going to get rid of the underscore. No. Even the Unhappy Hour sports show is the Unhappy Hour underscore. Can't do much with that. It is what it is. But anyway, yeah, at American underscore media underscore. Thank you so much. Okay, next topic about the deep state. And are they still trying to go after and eliminate President Trump? All right, Blake Walley, do you agree or disagree that the deep state is actively trying to still assassinate President Trump?
Yes, 100%. I agree. That is going to be a continuing theme. Let me see if I can pull up a story here. What's going on?
Also getting this comment while you grab the screen. Kind of interesting. I do actually like the comment. Where did that go? About the underscore. It's funny. It says, I mean, it only takes you 2 seconds to say underscore, but if you add up those 2 seconds at the end of the year, that's probably a vacation's worth. And saying that Dane Cook did such a great roast on anyone who still has underscore in their handle. You got to go see what he just did. Okay, sounds funny. I will check it out. Anyway. Okay, go ahead, Blake.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Interesting comments there. Oh, is he doing voice to text? All right, that's explained. Otherwise it's a lot of fast writing there. Okay, you got Representative Matt Gaetz saying a DHS source told him there are actually 5 assassination teams inside the United States targeting Trump.
At least.
Yeah, that they know of. And then I would say that there are, more prominently known. And then who knows how many other wackos are out there being riled up by the media. So he made the comments after Ryan Ruth tried to kill the former president after hiding in the bush for 12 hours. Ruth somehow knew where Trump would be within 500 yards, despite the round of golf not being on the schedule and the decision to be being played last minute, which leads many to think that there is a mole, probably even in the Secret Service. So let's check out this clip with Matt Gaetz with Poso. Here we go.
And I'll break a little news for you. I had a senior official from the Department of Homeland Security in my office before the second assassination attempt saying that what he has assessed is that there are 5 known assassination teams in the United States, 3 inspired by other governments, 2 that are here that are known domestic assassination teams. And with that, this individual was coming to me concerned that the force protection around President Trump, even prior to that second assassination attempt, was not sufficient for what it needed to be. And the coordination at that level, at the dignitary protection level, is like the bare minimum that we have to do to keep our presidents, our presidential candidates safe while they're on the trail.
So there are 5, I just want to follow up, 5 assassination teams. Are they all targeting Trump? Is it other officials?
Yes. No, wow. I should have been clear about that. 5 teams that we know are targeting Trump. And so that raises real questions about why certain teams were being pulled off of the Trump detail and put on, for example, the Jill Biden detail. Now, we don't want anything bad to happen to Jill Biden, but at the same time, the threat envelope for her was substantially different than the threat envelope around President Trump, and it would not have necessitated pulling assets away from the Trump detail for the Jill Biden detail or the John Bolton detail or any other details that were beefed up. At the same time, the requests from the Trump detail and from the Trump campaign for more security were going unanswered.
Yeah. John Bolton and the mustache, the arch neocon villain, gets more security detail than Trump, apparently, or at least according to Gaetz, or more than he needs. So yeah, it's unusual. Yeah,
And I don't think the presidents should have any. It shouldn't be up to the president whether or not they want to protect the person that's trying to take their job and throw them in prison. Like that is a clear conflict of interest. Like the high crimes and misdemeanors of this Democrat, regime that seized power in 2020. If you want the regime who stole the United States to be tasked with keeping Trump, the one they stole it from getting into office, I mean, come on now. There's no universe where that should be under the purview of the president. That should be something extra presidential. That should not be up to the person in charge. And the defense should be robust. But President Trump should have double security. He's a former president. He gets security for the rest of his life. And he's a candidate. He should have triple security. And he's a candidate, and he's leading in all the polls. So he should have the most because it's most likely he's going to be the commander-in-chief again. By the way, this would be a wonderful time to remind you that you can go find countervailing views by visiting cisa.gov/rumor control regarding elections and the WHO website, who.int, and cdc.gov for all medical issues, and cdc.gov/vaccine specifically regarding medical and political related claims, Blake. Okay, so let's talk about this assassin list. This is strange. And by the way, beep, 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 breaking news, the son of the guy who took the shots has now been arrested. This is getting weirder.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't even have that in the stack because I didn't even know it was a rumor or what have you. But that was the new part of this story, is that I guess he got busted for having child porn. But there's a lot of people that get hit with that, and I don't think it's always real. I mean, like this, remember Stephen Paddock, the alleged shooter of the Mandalay Bay, and his, I guess his brother was saying that it was BS story it was, and all of a sudden he had child porn. There's been several people like that. They will put you away.
It's so I don't know. I don't know if any of these. It's one of the easiest things you could fake. Like how look what was found on the laptop. Right. Who knows who put that there? And like that's the easiest thing to just. It's a magic brush. It's pixie dust. You could sprinkle. You know what it is? It's kind of like Dave Chappelle. I think he did that joke. Maybe in one of his stand-up specials. I don't think it was the Chappelle show. And he sprinkle some crack on him. You know, like when the cops shoot somebody, right. You sprinkle some crack on him.
Yeah, Chappelle. Yeah. Something
like that. But anyway, so let's get back to the letter, I suppose. Obviously, the guy's son has now been arrested for CP. We'll see what happens with that. But what's going on with this letter? Because it sure seems like he's called for the Autobots to assemble, the Decepticons, rather. It's almost like they put out an APB, all points bulletin. Let's go get Trump. We got to get him. Sorry, I missed. Like,
yeah.
Why do we get this guy's manifesto in a week, but the trans shooter who targets Christians and targets white people and targets whatever, had this person's brain rotted by this radical indoctrination in their schools, that's hidden forever. But this is put out in a week. It's kind of like the Soros story. This to buy 220 radio stations, it takes forever to get clearance for that. Unless you're Soros, we'll fast track it. It's just there's no congruity in timelines here. It's just it's all so weird.
Yeah, absolutely. And yes, here's the letter. Here's $150,000 bounty that the failed assassin Ryan Ruth put out there. Yeah, he was really just hardwired. Like this is like this major thing that they have to get rid of Trump. They're just insane. It's TDS to the extreme. And a lot of it is, this media manipulation by just constantly bad-mouthing Trump, making him sound like he's the greatest threat to democracy and he's going to be a dictator and destroy the country. And they get rile up these wackos, but then they've got at least 5 assassination teams. I think 3 of them might be from foreign nations, and then who knows how many other alleged teams are out there. So yeah, they absolutely have to beef up the security, but they're not going to, as if they are hoping that there is a leak and somebody takes them out. That would be the greatest thing that could happen to them. And then they could just maybe they could run Nikki Haley ceremoniously, and then it wouldn't matter whether Nikki or Kamala won, because they'd still get their uniparty, deep state controlled candidate. But
Benny here is saying that Trump has to arrest all of them. It's the only way that we get our country back. And of course, John Bolton was brought up, and thanks for this awesome message here. Every time I see Bolton, I think about this one dude who used to ride around in a convertible at Newport Pier at Balboa Bay trying to pick up little hotties. He had a digital sign in the back window of his vehicle that scrolled, "Mustache rides, 5 cents." Yeah, to try to get that visual out of your head now, John Bolton cruising the pier, mustache rides.
Well,
thanks for
that. He
that.
does have a great mustache, but that's about all that's great about him. He was that's fair. Benny also said maybe his son was the one who's going to make good on that $150,000 reward. Who knows? But someone is obviously on Trump's inside, on the inside of Trump's team, who's compromised, giving out information on his whereabouts. I mean, it feels that way, whether that's provable or not. It sure feels that way, Blake. Yeah, I believe that. It's unfortunate that Ron DeSantis allowed him to be taken into custody by the feds. He should have stopped that, because I'm sure if they could have done their own internal state investigation, they probably could have found that out. But now if he's getting taken by the feds, I don't expect any of that information to come out. So that's bad. Also of note is that his bail was denied after FBI recovered 6 cell phones, one of which had contained a Google search of how to travel from Palm Beach County to Mexico. So he was ready to pull off his shooting and then go racing to the border. So that's pretty bad news. We'll see what comes of this and what they do with this Ryan Ruth. He is appeared. I mean, he's going to be going through some court hearings, so maybe we'll get some answers soon. I don't know. Yeah, he also in the vehicle he had 12 pairs of gloves, his Hawaii driver's license, of course, documents, and a handwritten list of all the dates of all of Trump's appearances through the campaign season. So, anywho, crazy story.
Yeah.
What else?
I like seeing President Trump out there on the campaign trail, but I also don't really want him taking any chances. I think that's fair, right?
Yeah, no,
I don't know.
I totally
understand. It's like I'm almost like just campaign from the basement for the next month. Just get elected, president-elect, and let's just get to work. Just get through this. But you can't get through this unless you get to that, and the way to do it is by holding your massive rallies and winning the people over. Because you go to the rallies and you come away with a different perspective than what MSNBC or CNN want you to believe. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to hear it straight from him, because they're not. I mean, the only one that CNN, I believe, recorded even was the one in Butler, suspiciously. I'm not 100% if that's true, but that is one of the things I'm seeing that's going around. Like Ryan Ruth apparently had like a GoPro or some kind of a camera, like he wanted to film the assassination, and then CNN team finally shows up at one of the rallies, and it just happened to be the Butler one. Like they wanted to get those good close-up shots of get that snuff video for their elitist friends. Allegedly, I could be wrong on that, but
this David Sachs here you have pulled up. He's been making the rounds, man. I'm not super familiar with him, but he's been all over the place. I guess doing a pretty good job. When he's out there, they're not making fun of him. They're appreciative that David Sachs has entered the conversation. He's not like a typical, MAGA all-in kind of guy. He's from that All In podcast, I believe. Is it the #1 podcast? It's right up at the top.
I'm not actually 100%. Yeah, he's a Silicon Valley billionaire. Yeah, he's an influential guy. Yeah, he has been outspoken on a lot of these hot issues, and he is backing Trump. And he says, of course, the would-be Trump assassin was quoting Biden Harris in the media chapter and verse. So it's like they are radicalizing these people, trying to make Donald Trump to be 1,000 times worse than he might be, just to make it look like he's an enemy that needs to be taken out. He's going to destroy the country, and then he gets idiots like that shooter who really believe the propaganda and want to go kill him. So, and we blood on their hands. Not that they seem to care, but anyway. That's just one clip on that. So I think that's all I have on that particular subject.
Rick is saying even if Trump is elected, they will still keep trying. They will never stop. In 2030, they'll be trying. Yeah, they're coming after all of us. Like, that's just all I have to say. They're coming after all of us. It's not that they're going after Trump. They're coming after everybody's freedom and civil liberties right now. It's global. Macron is doing it. It's not in the stack, but Macron just called for a new world order. Zelensky, it's not in the stack, but he just came to Pennsylvania. Biden's team flew him in on U.S. military craft to campaign for Kamala Harris and trying to find a way to get permanent money. I think they called it like Trump proof, so that Trump can't get elected in a month and a half and then that the money can dry up. They want some way to continue the gravy train. Even if Trump gets in and stops the war, like he has said. But Benny is also asking, what chance do we have when we can't trust the FBI, the Department of Justice, the CIA, the media, and on and on? They cheated in 2020, and nothing was done about it. It's obvious how this will work out. Blake, do we just give up then?
It's a good
watch
point.
No, and let it burn?
We can't give up. No, we can't let it go down without a fight. So that's it. Yeah, they have gotten very powerful, and they are working against us. And it's us or them. So we're going to allow them to run us over and pick us off one by one, or we do everything we can to, either beat it or expose it enough that it gets enough other people to join the cause. Because this can no longer continue, or we will lose the country that our forefathers, fought and died for.
Benny saying get illegals in, and that keeps wages down, and then that gets more votes for them. Get ready, because Harris just got the new record votes, 100 million completely legitimate votes, beating Biden's 81 million. You can read the future headlines. Just imagine. I just can't. I can't with that. Pipe Piper asking, isn't Ukraine doing election interference? Yeah, like as much as possible. And they have been for a while. Rick asking, having foreign leaders in your campaign is collusion. Prove me wrong. Kenneth saying, or asking rather, if Blake and I are soon going to be doing arts and crafts at Camp FEMA. Yeah, we're not in FEMA Region 9 anymore. We're in FEMA Region whatever we are here. East of California. But yeah, there you go, Benny. Fight, fight, fight. Kenneth saying that's right. But Benny's taking an pessimistic approach here, saying either way our cities will burn. Either way our cities will burn. I don't know, Blake. Let's try to stay positive while we still have a little bit of fight inside of us. What do you have in front of you there?
Oh, someone sent me a tweet, and I forgot to mention this as well. Of all the people that are entangled in this whole Diddy saga, Kamala might actually be one of those big names. And this is Wayne, who says, why is Kamala running for president when she lied about her role as attorney general during Diddy's alleged activities? She also caught lying about a top student at her university. I'm not 100% about that. It wouldn't surprise me. She did lie about, allegedly working at McDonald's or how she grew up. She was clearly a child of privilege. And she's definitely phony and manufactured, it seems to be. Not who we think it is.
No, and it's also being called into question now. I guess transcripts have been requested, or according to what I was hearing, that no transcripts have been provided to prove that Kamala Harris prosecuted anybody, that she was just shuffling papers, that she's not a battle-tested, prosecutor like the image is trying to purport, but rather that's not her at all. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but it just seems like almost everything about here is completely astroturfed and faked. And I think that's one of the questions in our
that's
stats.
a good segue. Yeah.
Let's go ahead and shift over to this one about Kamala Harris and her whole presidency. Blake. Agree or disagree that Kamala Harris's presidency is purely a media creation? What say you, Blake? Agree or disagree?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with that. Let me pull up a story if I can. I got a couple of quick notes on that. Of course, big tweet that was put out from Greg Price, which Elon Musk highlighted. Back in January, Kamala Harris's approval rating was only 28%, and it was 32% at the beginning of summer, and today it is nearly 50%. What changed? Well, just the media coverage. That is literally the only thing that has changed. And yes, Elon Musk is right to say manufactured by the media. And then we also have Tucker Carlson saying she is, where I got that line, she's purely a media creation. So how did she all of a sudden become so popular? We're hearing the is a talking point that people are on a sugar high. Yeah, but it's all, nobody cared about Kamala until Joe Biden unceremoniously destroyed in the debates. And all of a sudden now she's a big star. Then they needed her. So, and Tucker Carlson said, yeah, the media has the power to create a virtual reality. And it seems to be working. So it's not about, her rise is not about her political acumen, obviously, and it's about the media machination. So it's interesting because it happens at exactly the moment the media's credibility and business model are both collapsing. So now they are tying everything to Kamala to beat Trump. So it's personal. I'll say real last link. Yeah, our public persona carefully crafted, every statement and appearance meticulously managed to present an image of competence and moderation. That's all themes Carlson has said to reiterate and emphasize. And because, yeah, she obviously doesn't do interviews because she's not good off the cuff. So they have to have all their talking points that are memorized, scripted, and then they let her off to, use the same talking points, even though she's still dancing around the issues about what she's actually going to do, especially when it comes to economy or the border.
Yeah, and her answer, well, I was born in I come from a middle-class family.
Yeah.
I shared a cartoon of the woman coming home and asking her man who's on the couch eating food, eating chips and drinking beer or something. So when do you plan on cleaning out that garage today like we talked about? Oh, I was raised in a middle-class family, he responds. Just try to change the subject. Talk about something else. Run out the clock. Word salad. Hold the meat. It's absurd. She is so in over her head. We're still wrapping up 4 years of weekend at Biden's though. You feel like there's no way somebody so unkamalified for the position could possibly take that position. But here we are, Blake. It feels like we're doing a redo, not a weekend at Bernie's, but a Groundhog Day 4 years ago. Remember when 51 intelligence officials came out and said, oh, the Hunter Biden, I can't believe Trump would say that about cats and dogs. That's been thoroughly debunked, sir, says the ABC. David Muir, what's that guy's name?
Yeah.
That's been debunked. No, there's video of this. What is it? The city manager, one of the city officials, talking about the reports that they've received, going all the way back many months ago. So now that 51 intelligence officials came out and lied through their teeth to cause election interference against President Trump and for this puppet Joe Biden, now there's 741 intelligence chiefs endorsing Kamala. Blake, agree or disagree that this is harmful to Trump?
I am going to disagree. Yeah, it seems like it's a lot of people, and it sounds like a bold thing. Wow, 741 intelligence chiefs. But then you realize a lot of them are the same ones who lied about Hunter Biden's laptop. Of course, they're endorsing Harris. So is that a good or a bad endorsement? Yeah, hundreds of so-called, we don't know who all of them are, national security experts, that's debatable, have thrown their weight behind VP Harris. Among the self-proclaimed guardians of democracy are several individuals who infamously dismissed the Hunter Biden laptop story as Russian disinformation. So, yeah, they need a serious and capable commander-in-chief in the defense of American democracy. Well, they can... Okay, fine. You don't like Trump, but I mean, how can you possibly think Kamala would be better qualified? That's ridiculous. So, anyway,
I mean, if you're okay with World War III, I mean, we are moving rapidly toward a World War III. Is that what we're aiming at? Is that the hopes and dreams of for our kids, for the neighbors in our community? Is this what we want? I mean, she is the deep state war hawk candidate, and we could wrap this stuff up and focus, I don't know, hundreds of billions of dollars on rebuilding our infrastructure and making this country awesome. Or, I mean, what? This is just the planned demolition, detonation of the United States of America. This is the Barack Hussein Obama plan. It's the Cloward and Pivot strategy to overwhelm the system with tens of millions of illegal aliens, overwhelm the system with way too much debt. You can't even make the interest payments. Overwhelm the system with too much foreign war. You can't even defend your own country. You don't have your own stockpiles. You don't have your own natural gas reserves. You don't have your own gasoline, strategic oil reserves in this country. That everything's been depleted. I mean, we have been left so vulnerable for attack. If someone were trying to intentionally set up the United States for destruction and invasion, you couldn't do a better job than they are currently doing, even if you want to say that they're not actively doing it or intentionally doing it. It would look almost exactly the same. So, if these are the 741 intelligence chiefs, the same ones that lied about the Hunter Biden laptop, and many of those people from the Hunter scam have also signed this one, Blake. So, yeah, I think this endorsement should do as much to help Kamala as the non-endorsement from the Teamsters, and it should do as much as the IRS endorsing Kamala. It's like, yes, if all the worst people are going in with Kamala Harris and the Democrats, well, I mean, it's pretty much solidifying exactly the opposite of what you want out of this world. So I'd say vote against her, but maybe that's me being radical, Blake.
Yeah, I mean, even if I didn't know who she was running against and I just saw all the endorsements with, Dick Cheney or the IRS or the supposed intel chiefs or all of these celebrities that don't matter, or Hollywood or Wall Street or the Fortune 100 CEOs, and if they're all on that side, then I am going to, by default, think that the other person is probably the populist and the one that we would want against the establishment. So there's never been more obvious on the lines. Or maybe, Hillary was pretty bad. But this is kind of a repeat. This is Hillary 2.0.
Yeah, or it's the Nikki Haley that the deep state was trying to go for. Remember that story? Nikki changed her plans to go to the RNC right around the time that the shot was fired at Trump. It's like, oh, you thought maybe you had a bigger role to play there. I don't know. I'm not accusing her of knowing anything, but it's just, it's disgusting, man. Like, there are some obvious, easy fixes that we could do to make this country a better place. And I'm just concerned about the actual votes being counted this time. I don't know. What is too big to rig? How big does it actually have to be to survive cheating efforts, Blake? I don't know if you had any more on Kamala here, but this one is another story about Democrats, if you agree or disagree, that they're planning to cheat with overseas voters. So, I mean, if you had any more to wrap up on this aspect of, rigging the election by trying to put all these intelligence traitors lying about Trump and endorsing Harris, what about what's happening with overseas voters?
Yeah, this is a huge story here. It's been coming out over like last Friday, I think. But this seems to be it's a major flaw with our system that the Democrats are exploiting and are even bragging about it. I got Barack Obama's former Canadian ambassador revealing a Zoom call with Hollywood celebrities, social media influencers to discuss an undetectable way to steal the 2024 election. And it's very simple. The key to winning our elections is to get 9 million individuals to vote for Kamala Harris from a pool of 2.4 million eligible overseas voters, according to the data. So Democrats are essentially removing the shock value when it's announced that they only achieved a percentage of their goal. When it's revealed they received millions of new overseas votes. So that's what they've done, is exploit every possible loophole. And let's see, there's a problem for those concerned about the legitimacy or security. The fact that these so-called 9 million voters Democrats claim they are trying to recruit will not even have to prove their identity or even provide a legitimate address for their past or present residence in the United States. I believe they don't even have to show the social security number.
What in the world are we doing? This doesn't make any sense.
Right. Well, like if you're going to go overseas, if you live in the country and you're going overseas for whatever reason, maybe you get you go to Oxford, or you go to some school abroad, or you go traveling and you're going to be out of the States and you're not going to be able to vote in person. And of course you have military that is overseas. There's rules for how you can get your vote to count here, but you should absolutely be able to prove your residence. But they've changed things around, and I think Chucky Schumer had something to do with it. Well, I'm sure he would, but I guess they've keep finding ways to make. So here we go. Anything they can to try to gather up many votes, especially in these swing states, these battleground states, anywhere where they can get an advantage and just get tons of votes. Now, these aren't even actual physical ballots, which is even more terrifying. So I guess this was justification for Chuck Schumer to advocate for electronic delivery of ballots to unverified non-military requesters claiming to be U.S. citizens living overseas. So advocacy for military voting access has wide support, as it should, and lobbying efforts describe the bill as benefiting the military. But in reality, it's non-military overseas voters benefited the most from these changes with this loophole. So I guess Schumer had something to do with getting that done. And it was in 2009 and required states to distribute blank ballots to eligible voters 45 days before Election Day. Required states to deliver the ballots by email and other electronic means to all that request them. So most states allow the electronic return of electronic ballots by any person claiming to be a U.S. citizen while requiring no verification of identity or citizenship. And it's this UOC-AVA voters, which is Uniformed and Overseas Citizens Absentee Voting Act. And so both federal and Democratic Party websites allow online users to register without identity or citizenship. So if U.S. citizens in the USA who would like to register to vote, you must put your 4 digits of your social security number and provide a driver's license or state-issued ID. But if you're overseas, you can bypass the requirement to show the last 4 digits of your security number and or provide a license or state-issued ID. And here's a screenshot from what it is. So Michigan, which is a battleground state, one of the ones that stopped counting in the middle of the night. Well, they got all the ballots, and apparently a lot of the ballots may have been from these allegedly overseas people. So when you're trying to request a ballot, you put your social security number if you have one, but if you have a social security number, you can provide it. But if you don't have it, you can provide a state's license. But if you don't have either, you can just check the box that indicates I don't have the above identification. And most states will accept the form without a state's identification card or a social security number. But if they do require it, they will contact you. Yeah, I'm sure.
This is something that has to have a nationwide mandate. You can't be having this in some places. There is no place that should be able to allow this. This is insane. How long has this been going on? This is brand new.
They've been picking me in it for a while. I guess it's something from either 2002 or 2009, or it keeps getting amended and doctored with. It's one thing to allow your service people. They're overseas. We sent them to war, but they want to vote, or maybe they want to, vote against George Bush because they're at war. And if they get John Kerry, maybe they'll get to be brought back into the United States, or Obama, or what have you. And they should absolutely be encouraged and allowed to vote.
And they're super easy to identify.
Right.
We know who they are. We know where they're at. We know why they can't just walk in and vote like a normal person. Right. Are you saying that people can't walk aren't normal? I'm saying that unless you have extremely unusual circumstances, yes, you go and vote on voting day. It's something we've all done. It's something we can all continue doing. These open voting for months on end, just with enough time to always figure out exactly how many you need. It's just silly. Benny's saying he's from Wisconsin. He felt that the cheat was on. He could feel it. Yeah,
Wisconsin was bad, and they had like the Justice Gablemen going around. They did all kinds of dirty stuff. Yeah, it was drop boxes. It was dirty voter rolls. It was they were getting ballots from like senior citizens that were like dementia patients. Like they went all out to get every possible vote that they could, and barely won. And there really wasn't much of an audit in any of these states, especially like Michigan, Pennsylvania. Nevada.
And what was it? It was the mental patients, the ones with dementia and memory loss. It was like 100% of the 100-year-olds on their roster. They all voted. It was just the statistical anomalies that don't even pass the sniff test. Voting should be hard. You should have to prove a couple of different ways that you are, in fact, eligible to participate, just like anything. You're not eligible to participate in something just because you feel like it. You have to meet the criteria. We're September 24th, Blake. We are so close to the election, and has early voting even started in some of these places? Again, can we just not do early voting? Just go vote. I don't know why we're doing this. It introduces the potentiality for fraud. It doesn't need to be this way. It's definitely making it more likely that cheating could occur. I don't have any specific evidence, but that doesn't mean it's not happening. My lack of evidence doesn't make me wrong.
Right. But they have put together some of these numbers and how they can be manipulated. So according to this chart here showing all the battleground states and their populations abroad, you've got Michigan, which we're just using as an example, 264,000 people. So you got 250,000 people. that could technically vote without showing a social security number or showing like, oh, I lived in, Dearborn, I lived in Detroit, I lived in Flint, I lived wherever, Ann Arbor. Nothing, no proof, no nothing. And here you go. You can just vote digitally. That could be a major swing. I mean, that some of these votes that are settled by, 10, 15,000 votes, you can make a massive swing with 200,000 some votes or 250,000 votes.
Yeah, but Blake, it's not like these. I don't have any evidence. No court has proven. But I don't think these were close races. Trump was up by hundreds of thousands when they had to pause, when they had to stop. Up hundreds of thousands. It was a blowout. It wasn't close. Oh, it's a 51-49 country. No, it's not. Especially this year. No, it is not. The second part of what Benny was saying about Wisconsin, he felt it. Said every single time he voted, it went directly into a machine. In 2020, they had a wooden box hanging on the wall with a slot in it. And if nobody's checking what's going into it, nobody's doing signature verifications. I mean, it's just silly season on voting. Blake, care to respond to Experienced with this wonderful comment? Trump 2024, years in prison soon.
For what? Some stupid business expense, whether he paid off a porn star 20 years ago and whether that was a business expense or a campaign expense. I mean, give me a break. That's crime. That wouldn't be a felony until they made it one and then somehow made that into 34 magically just to make it sound bad.
Yeah, they just repeated it over and over again.
You're right. It's just somebody repeating talking points from the leftist media. But
and by the way, this comment here saying define overseas, because most of these people are actually within our territories. They're just living on work visas or a factory farm or, like at some sort of assignment in one of our major corporations or government. Yeah, these people are easy to identify, and they should all be tracked and traced and marked off and signature verified. Like you should have to open up 3 or 4 different locks to be able to vote so recklessly. Yes, an American living abroad should be able to vote, right? But you don't get to vote without stringent verification. They're also saying, look at all the ships that are out to sea, and we don't want to deny them their opportunity to vote. Yeah. The known Americans with social security numbers and signature verification who put in advance that they were going to be on this list, and they have an address, they have a voting history, and it's double checked so nobody else could get a mail-in ballot that gets sent in duplicate. If there are protocols that are being followed, okay. But if they're not following protocols, no thanks. None of that, please. There need to be protocols. Benny's saying Dems don't want fair elections. If they were fair, they'd be done immediately. And they've been cheating state and federal elections for decades. Yes, that has been the accusation for sure. Rick saying since a lot more Republicans work than Democrats, once every 4 years, Election Day and the day after should be federal holidays. Once every 4 years. Well worth it. Yeah, why couldn't we make vote like President's Day could be voting day, right? Just make it a federal holiday, roll that onto that Tuesday, and it's Super Tuesday, it's President's Day, voting day. That's easy to fix, right? That's easy.
No, I love that idea. Yeah.
Keep it one day.
Yeah, no, I think that's a terrific idea. Everybody has there's no excuse to not vote. And everybody's got the day off. We can celebrate our nation, and everybody can get together, go vote, and go watch the election on TV. I think that's great.
Kenneth saying it seems like he fed his last vote into a shredder. Yeah, that is kind of how it felt like to me. And Benny saying overnight Trump's numbers dropped in the blink of an eye. It was shown on many platforms. I've seen the exact opposite, that there have been like 10-point swings in favor of Trump because now that the election is tightening up, the pollsters can't rig it. They need to have it close to what it actually comes out to be. And so like I think Arizona was 5 under for Trump, and now he's 5 over. Not too much has changed, except the pollsters have to get accurate numbers out now, because if they don't, they're going to be embarrassed and not trusted the next time around. Anyway, thank you for all the comments. I really appreciate it. To all 73 of you watching live, make sure you hit like, hit subscribe to the New American Media, to the Agree to Disagree show. Find us on X at American_media_, and find Blake He's at TV's Blake Walley on X. Okay, so anyway, overseas votes. Do we have any more on this? Trump's response, I guess you have in here?
Yeah, there's a couple things to note here quickly. So Donald Trump is aware of this breaking stories from the Gateway Pundit and this lady, Patty, who wrote this. So he's saying, yeah, the Democrats are talking about how they're working so hard to get millions of votes from Americans living overseas, but actually they're getting ready to cheat. They're going to use this, UOC AVA to get ballots, a program that emails ballots overseas without any citizenship check or verification of identity whatsoever. Remember, they say we have the most secure elections in history, and anyone can get a ballot emailed to them. So they want to dilute the true vote of our military and their families, and Republicans must act to stop them from stealing our military votes. And if you vote illegally, you're going to jail. That's assuming he can actually win if they don't cheat him. But also, let's try to roll this quick video here showing, this is on Morning Joe. This is from Patty M.I., Michigan, who's done a terrific job putting this stuff together for the Gateway Pundit and calling out MSNBC and Morning Joe, blowing the whistle on the kind of the stop the steal of 2024, I suppose. So let's check out Morning Joe and Micah and this Canadian ambassador from Trump or from Obama.
I don't have audio yet.
Is that not working?
I don't have audio.
And
okay. It's weird because my audio didn't play one of them either. Maybe try again.
Yeah, so here it is. Sorry, this is Patty, Michigan. This is her tweet where she's calling this all out directly and putting up this video here with Micah Brzezinski and this Obama light.
Democratic Party is investing considerable resources to turn out American voters living abroad. According to DNC officials, there are 1.6 million Americans living overseas who are eligible to vote in 7 battleground states. Here's one example that shows just how critical this voting bloc is. In 2020, President Biden won Georgia by just 11,700 votes. According to the Election Assistance Commission, there were over 18,000 ballots cast from overseas voters registered in
enough to swing that whole state.
Georgia. Joining us now, former.
That feels exactly right, actually. Thanks for telegraphing that play, Mika. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ambassador to Canada, Bruce Heyman. He recently participated in a meeting called Americans Abroad for Harris Waltz and authored an op-ed on MSNBC.com entitled How Americans Living Abroad Could Decide the 2024 Election. It's good to have you back on the show, Mr. Ambassador. So how to get the word out to Americans living abroad? What's the challenge here?
Well, the challenge is many Americans don't even realize that they can vote when they live abroad. And then when they realize they can vote, they don't know how. Do they call mom and dad back at home and say, how do I do this? Get me an absentee ballot. But this is protected by federal law. And this federal law has been established for all 50 states that Americans living anywhere in the world have the right to vote. And all they have to do is go to votefromabroad.org, register to vote, and get your ballot. Now, those ballots are by law sent out 45 days before the election. So those ballots are going to be heading out in less than 2 weeks.
Hold on.
Right now.
Yeah, they're sending out unsolicited ballots again.
That's the part. That's the part. No. That is not happening because those could allegedly get mailed out and allegedly be received by the post office, who has endorsed Kamala Harris for some reason. No, you cannot trust that. Absolutely not. No. Hell to the no. No. No, you don't just send ballots out. You must request a ballot. You don't. No.
Right.
Like, no.
Yeah, I agree. This should be like common sense. But I mean, they're so desperate to win the elections, they are willing to do whatever it takes, including, yes, bending the rules, manufacturing this stuff, and allowing the environment for people to easily cheat.
now,
I get it. I get it if somebody's living abroad, but like Kenneth says, what if you're living with abroad?
Great question.
Okay.
All right, we'll keep rolling.
I'm just saying, this is it. This is the opportunity. And how do we get the word out? We do it right here on your show. We have influencers like Nancy Pelosi promoting this very strongly. We have social media influencers coming out, actors, actresses. We had over 60 actors, actresses, participants, social media influencers, politicians last week on this global call with tens of thousands of participants and well over 1,000 new ballots just being requested even during the call itself. So this is the opportunity. And as you mentioned, we won at the margin, Arizona and Georgia. And so all you have to do is go to votefromabroad.org if you're an American overseas, or if you're in the U.S. and you know somebody who's studying abroad this fall or traveling or doing business overseas. This is your shot right now.
Yeah, so that's
if you know someone, he didn't really finish that thought. If you know someone, what? Sign it for them, request it for them, fill it out for them, return it for them. Is that like he didn't finish that thought there? Was he trying to get at, well, then you should encourage them to do it, or he was saying take charge and make sure you do it? I don't know, man. This is it's not a matter of who votes for who. It's a matter of who counts the votes.
Right. So, and especially when these are digital votes, I mean, that's not usually tolerated. So how do you make a chain? You can't have chain of custody if these are done by email and the person's not even saying where they lived or what their social security number is. Like, they should automatically be rejected.
All right. Well, let's keep our eye on that. This is going to be a huge story, I can tell already. Dreamer, what's up? Dreamer asking, how does he even know that these people living abroad would vote in a positive way to support the Democrats? Heck of a leap there. Exactly. Okay, anything more on this story? That is a huge one. We got to keep our eyes on that for sure. But let's ask if you agree or disagree that Donald Trump should accept the challenges of a second debate. All right, so, we're talking about people voting abroad. Should there be another opportunity to compare and contrast the candidates here?
Well, I am going to disagree. I kind of agree and disagree. It just depends. So I'm going to disagree with the parameters that they have set up. So I would like to see a second debate. They did, or at least she agreed to have one on October 23rd. Kamala, she wanted a second one. So that's just 2 weeks before the November 5th election. But since it's so late and it's going to be on CNN, I think that he should decline that one because that just reeks of a trap. So they're going to do something, and I don't trust the CNN moderators. And they're going to do something, the same type of thing where they're going to fact check him, not fact check her, let her get away with BS, try to get her to, have a few zingers that they're going to be trying to set up that are going to make it look good just 2 weeks before the election. I think that's a trap. But if she agrees, if she's so confident in her message, then why can't she do it on Fox? He did one on ABC. We saw how much of an advantage that it played. We saw what the moderators did there, David Muir and his associate. So, yeah, Trump doesn't need to do that. I don't think it's going to change a lot of opinions. But if she's able to get some good shots and they can trap him on that CNN debate, then I think that would help her more than it could help him. So what do you think, Brian?
I'm conflicted on this. I'm conflicted. When we watched the debate almost 2 weeks ago now, I thought it was kind of a draw. I thought it was kind of boring. If I'm giving my critique, it was kind of a draw, kind of boring. But in the days following, Kamala got so destroyed, absolutely roasted and lambasted for not answering straightforward questions, for bloodbath hoax, fine people hoax, national income tax hoax. It was just hoax after hoax. None of it was called out.
Project 2025. Yeah.
Project 2025. Thank you. That stuff should have been fact-checked in real time, or they shouldn't have fact-checked anybody and just let them put on the record what they want on the record and let the pundits figure it out and sift through the carnage afterward. I didn't think Trump easily won it in the moment. In the days following, it's obvious that he crushed in that. I don't think he needs to prove a damn thing. He already knocked out the person who received all of the Democrat nominee votes. He ended Biden with a flawless debate. Finish him. He finished him like it was Mortal Kombat on a Sega Genesis. He finished him. So he beat Kamala. What more does he need to do? Does it really move the needle to do it again? I don't know. But Blake, you said it would be on which network? It wouldn't be on Fox?
No, she's agreed to it on CNN.
Oh, good God, no.
Right.
No, get out. She agreed to it. You know what? You set it up. You give it a date. You say, I'm going to do a debate against Kamala Harris. Fox News, by the way, it's going to be Jesse Waters, and who was the other one that Trump picked out? He said, I don't want Brett doing it, and I don't want Martha. I want Jesse and somebody.
Gutfeld? I don't know. I
don't know. It should be Gutfeld. Fine. Like, why don't you ever get somebody that's going to defend the Republican in a debate, Blake? They'll put up Chris Wallace, who's going to repeat the fine people hoax in the debate. Put up Megyn Kelly to say, you called a lot of women bad names. He's like, I call a lot of bad people names, but only Rosie O'Donnell. You shouldn't be taking shots from the side that's supposed to be your side during the debate. You take shots from every other outlet. You should have at least one friendly outlet that's going to kind of have your back a little bit. At least be fair. In 2024, it feels like being fair is being biased and being, preferential toward a candidate. I don't know. I think I would just say I'm doing the debate, and Kamala has been invited. Crazy Kamala. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see if she takes it. But I'm doing it. I'll do it on my own if she doesn't show. But she's not a chicken. I think she'll show up. Do it like that. Just announce it. Just announce it like in Wag the Dog that you ended the war with Albania. He can't do that. He can't end the war. He just did. Do it. I don't know. I have mixed thoughts. I don't necessarily think that it's going to matter. But anyway, we'll see how it plays out. I don't think he should. Come on. CNN, Blake?
Nope.
Come on. Why would you go to CNN after watching the way ABC, ESPN, Disney did him?
I mean, the first one was great with Jake Tapper and even Dana Bash. Two people I wouldn't normally trust, but they actually ran a professional debate, and it ended Biden's career, and not because of the hosts, not because of the moderators, not because they fact checked him, but I mean, it just seemed to be a solid structure. But ABC was clear the fix was in.
Yeah. The fact checking one side, a sorority sister for Kamala on the other side, Dreamer saying no need for another debate when one side won't answer a question. I don't know. We'll see how it shakes out. I could see the upside and the downside to both of these. I guess we'll just see. I guess I had a little hanging note here if you had any more to add on Kamala in a second debate. But
nope, we got two quick stories and about 8 minutes left. So, yeah, let's hit those. We're ready to roll in the last two.
Should illegals be housed by Kamala voters? Agree or disagree that illegal aliens should be housed by Kamala voters?
You know what? I'm going to agree with that. Like if they're running out of housing, we're putting them in nice hotels, or all these big taxpayer funded, they're giving all kinds of benefits. It's wrong. And so this Ohio County sheriff is under fire after urging residents to record addresses of Harris supporters to send illegal immigrants to their homes. So another blatant example of Democrats' willingness to silence anyone who dares to expose their hypocritical policies. You got Portage County Sheriff Bruce Juchowski is under fire after his bold suggestion that residents should take notes of homes displaying the Kamala yard signs. Those same homes should be opened up to the very illegal immigrants that Harris and her leftist allies are so eager to flood into American communities. So obviously the sheriff is a Trump supporter, does not like the idea of these open border policies. And so there's a firestorm for the liberals who couldn't handle the truth being spoken so plainly. So, yes, he's publicly called her a flip-flopping, laughing hyena, and he's got a dismissive attitude on some of her policies. So, anyway, he's sort of apologized, I think. He didn't really back down, but he said his comments were a little misinterpreted, but he stands by the essence of the message. It's not like calling for violence. He's sworn to protect all citizens of his county. But yes, he does have a First Amendment, and he's allowed to be critical. And that's about it on that one. So I don't know how many people realize how bad her policy is on the border. And they don't realize how out of control it is and how she has no ability to defend what's going on. We can only assume it's going to get worse. But
once again, just the reminder, as border czar Kamala Harris has been doing, she's not failing. It's not that she's doing a bad job. She's doing exactly what Obama wants her to. She's doing exactly what Soros wants her to. And, for elected officials to call this stuff out and really just call it for what it is. Look, if you're uncomfortable with what's being said, maybe you should be a little bit more uncomfortable with what's happening. Quick show note here. Rick Norman is asking, hey, gentlemen, I don't know who he's referring to because it's only you and me in this place, Blake. Surely no gentleman to be found here amongst us scoundrels.
Yeah.
He's asking, hey, gentlemen, are you both going on with Mike tonight? Blake, take it away. Tell him where to find it.
Yes, absolutely. 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time will be Toxically Masculine Tuesday with Mike Barra, myself, Steve Doran, the trail boss, and then Brian Engelman will be filling in for Dr. Brooks Agnew, who is cruising the Mediterranean on a well-deserved, awesome trip, Italy and Greece and Switzerland and a few other places. So good for him.
Excellent. Thank you for that. What is this one? This video of Harris chanting down with deportation. Good grief.
Yes, this is another problem with their whole border policy is that this is 2018 before she was even in power, but this lets you know what her policy really is. And yeah, she was caught on video with good old Jussie Smollett. That's the great actor. There he is right there. And I think Natalie Portman is over here. So they were chanting a down with deportation. So that's one of the things that Trump is promising is to get a lot of these people that should not be here and push them out of the country. So, but she's clearly not. She doesn't even acknowledge the giant crisis that she herself is in large part responsible for. Border czar. Anyway. So yeah.
Did you have the clip? Did you want to play a clip? It's a short clip, I think. Just people are chanting and she joins in.
Yeah. Oh, that's her husband right there. Uh-oh. Let's see. Let's watch a Manscaped commercial.
For extra delicious game days.
Ooh, I got
the Manscaped the hot dogs. That's some subliminal advertising there.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. From Manscaped to hot dogs. That felt very intentional. Is this a Diddy intro?
Maybe. Oh, here it is. Okay. Looks like up with education, down with deportation. Down with deportation. Up with education, down with deportation. So, down with deportation. Even when you allowed.
Who does she work for, and why doesn't she work for you?
It's a good question.
All right. Well, final question here, Blake. This is a huge one that, this is kind of just happening, and there's going to be a lot to unpack. Maybe we'll get to more of it, some on Mike's show, maybe some on Thursday. But agree or disagree that the FCC is committing election interference with George Soros. This is nuts. I can't believe this is being fast-tracked.
Yeah, so this has been kind of a late breaking story here. I haven't even watched this video here, and I might have to bail, but maybe you can play it, or maybe I can squeeze it in here. But yeah, the our big villain, the Bond villain, George Soros, the Hungarian billionaire, radical leftist, buying up hundreds of radio stations before the election, and I guess this FCC commissioner has confirmed that the FCC is actually helping them. They usually have a very clear process, and of course, you're dealing with the government. Things are going to take a long time to review the foreign ownership at issue here. The FCC commission, for the first time ever, has skipped that process for the benefit of this Soros-backed group. So Soros, who funds all these radical politicians and prosecutors and sheriffs, like a James Bond villain trying to take over the United States and poison us, the citizens, with propaganda, is allowed to buy all these stations, and they're going to pollute the airwaves with God knows what. But let's listen to Glenn Beck and see what is said between him and the FCC Commissioner Brendan Carr.
Brendan, tell me, do I have this right, first of all, about the George Soros takeover of radio stations? And if so, why was there an exception made and fast-tracked?
Well, as you know, the New York Post has a story out last week, or actually yesterday, that says that the FCC last week adopted an order that effectively fast-tracks Soros's purchase of these 200 radio stations. And I haven't commented on that publicly, because the fact is the FCC hasn't released a final decision to the public yet, but the reporting is that we adopted it last week in a 3-2 vote. I've been outspoken on this particular issue for the reasons that you talked about. We have a very clear process at the FCC that we've set up that could take 6 months, could take a year to go through to review the foreign ownership at issue here. But for reasons that are not sort of plain to me, the FCC Commission, for the very first time ever, has skipped that process for the benefit of this Soros-backed group. And I'll sort of let people draw their own conclusions about it, but it's an unprecedented decision for the Commission.
Never happened before.
That's right. We at the Commission level adopted one way that you can buy radio stations if you have excessive foreign ownership, which they do. And that one process is this lengthy 6 to 1 year national security review, and it's been skipped here. Now, a lot of these stations are probably just, classic rock or news, but not all of them.
And they don't have to be. They can switch
there's a number
formats.
of stations that, there's a number of stations that you're on. For instance, at least 3 stations that you're on that are part of this deal. Same with Sean Hannity, same with Dana Lash, same with Mark Levin. So there's at least some of these that are, conservative news and talk outlets.
Well, I don't know if we got to pause there because I got to go. But that's
good. That should terrify all of us. I can continue maybe just extrapolating that if I want. But any final thoughts on this, Blake, as you run?
No, that's alarming. A Hungarian radical who has been meddling in American politics for years is the first person, I guess, to break the barrier of the FCC has made an exception for him, the first time in their history, to allow him to buy a staggering number of stations, which he is going to use to push propaganda. We can only assume. Why else would he do that? And why else would they fast track it? So, yes, this is blatant meddling, election interference with Soros, and it's disgraceful that the FCC would even bend the knee for this guy. So something's going on. It's not good, but
no, we agree. We'll keep our eyes peeled on that. A lot of breaking news today. Blake, tell people where to find you. And one more time about the show tonight so people can tune in.
You can tell the show tonight because I got to go. But TV's Blake Walley on Twitter and the nextlevelnews.com. Thank you so much, everybody. Good to see some new faces in here. Thank you, Brian. And we'll catch you in a few hours for TMT. All right. See you later. Good night.
Take care. There he goes. Blake Walley, everybody. Yeah, it's terrifying what Soros is doing to buy up. And then they also are trying, I don't know if they have succeeded in saying that certain models of cars will no longer have radios equipped with them. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense to me. But if you're trying to eliminate thought, if you're trying to eliminate opposition, it makes total sense, I suppose. But this is the last chance. This is the last exit we have before we Thelma and Louise right over that cliff. So please link up with us. Follow Blake at TV's Blake Walley. Yes, we will be back with Mike tonight. I think we're going to stream it on the New American Media X, which is at American_media_. I think we're going to stream it on YouTube, the youtube.com/the New American Media page. So like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, please. Leave some comments, watch some of our 1,500 videos over the past 13 years as well. We appreciate that. Rumble, please link up with us. We are north of 100 followers now on Rumble. It's a good platform. It's the YouTube alternative. Search the New American Media and subscribe to our channel. We have 2 podcasts on Spotify. Please go ahead and find them. One is the Agree to Disagree Show, and the other is the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. Please subscribe. Having a bit of a problem with Patreon. I am locked out of my Patreon account and don't know why. This has happened on more than one occasion to me. I was going to say that was a way you could support the program, but they don't like us much. We're on Truth Social, the New American Media. We're on Facebook, the New American Media, and a bunch of groups. Search TNAMs, the Agree to Disagree Show, TNAM Food and Drink, TNAM Preparedness, TNAM Grow Something, TNAM Humor, TNAM Golf, TNAM NASCAR, TNAM Hockey. We have a lot of different groups for people that are into certain things. TNAM Trading Cards and Collectibles. We got a bunch of fun groups in the Facebook realm. Also the page, The New American Media on Instagram. You can follow that. And if you were so inclined, we're also on Venmo. If you'd like to say hello, at Brian Engelman, BrianEngelman. That helps offset the thousands of dollars that we have incurred going to New York, Washington, Milwaukee, and Chicago this year to talk to people, to get man on the streets, to get a feeling for what is happening during this crazy election cycle. So yes, we'll be back on Toxically Masculine Tuesday. Like I said, you can follow, watch the show, I think, on the TNAM X and I think on the TNAM YouTube, also on Mike Barra's and maybe on Blake's. So just find it tonight. We'll be covering maybe some of these stories and maybe others, but I do appreciate each and every one of you watching today. So signing out on behalf of everybody in the chat room. That would be Kenneth with his B2 account, and Rick Norman, and Dreamer, and even a couple of strange comments throughout the day. Thank you all so much. Benny Hill, yes, thanks to you. Thanks to American Princess. Thanks to a bunch of you. You're very much appreciated. But for all the newcomers, just like the invaders to America, just like all the newcomers to our show, hit like, hit subscribe, and we will talk to you again soon. All right.